Hey, this is Adrian, Thug Nasty Jensen, and I exist for the sole purpose of bringing you your VFX community spotlight. You guys, this month has been pretty stellar as far as After Effects plugins go. First of all, we got an update to Trapcode Particular. Pretty cool, right? I got an app on my phone. New features include GPU acceleration through OpenGL, which can boost speeds up to 4 times. The pop-up designer window that we got in the last update, which is super helpful, by the way, got an upgrade too. And it can now provide way more control than it could before. You can also now put multiple particle systems on the same layer and have them interact with each other in 3D space, which is just like what? So cool, so useful. You can also now use 3D models and OBJ sequences as 3D emitters, and there's a lot of other new features as well, but those are my favorites. Obviously, Particular is pretty much the most important After Effects plugin ever made, so it kind of steals the show if it's on the list. But I'd say the other two standouts from the previous month have been Lazy and Diopter. Lazy is an extension that can be used for staggering your layers, but on a curve. I've been seeing a lot of people online saying that Lazy is not necessary because we already have a lot of other plugins and scripts that do the same thing. So I'm going to go ahead and show you why you're wrong. Let's say I wanted to add just a square layer and, make it yellow or whatever. I'm going to hit S for scale, set a keyframe, and then move forward to maybe 1 second. So I'll have that be 100, and then I'll have that scaling up from 0, and maybe do kind of a rotation animation as well to kind of illustrate my point. It's not meant to look beautiful or anything. So what a lot of people are comparing Lazy to are things like motion or ease and whiz. I don't really use ease and whiz because it creates an expression, and I think that's just complicating things more than you need to. I do use motion, however. So with motion, you can use it to ease your keyframes in the same way that you could using the graph editor. It just uses a slider, so it makes it a little bit easier to control. So if you just highlight those keyframes and then drag one of these sliders, it'll just automatically give you a more pleasing result, right? And ease and whiz can kind of do the same thing, but this is not what Lazy does. So to show you what Lazy does, I'm going to make a bunch of duplicates of this. Here I have those 9 squares doing this animation. What Lazy does is it does not add a easing curve to your keyframes in the way that motion and ease and whiz do. It will actually stagger your layers. So if we select all of those, and then we can just draw a curve with this curve editor here. And as you can see, the positioning of the layers is going to kind of match the curve that we drew. So now those layers themselves are staggered in time. So Lazy is actually not similar to anything that came before it. In my opinion, it's a new idea, and this is something that we really all should have been doing all along, but I think a lot of people aren't doing just because we never really thought to do it. So that's why Lazy gets my seal of approval. I think it's a cool little tool. Diopter is really cool. It makes these really sweet lens effects. I love this type of stuff. I can see myself using this all the time. I feel like it really helps bring your visual effects more into the same world as your footage, Now technically Diopter doesn't do anything that you can't already do with After Effects native plugins, but what it does do, it does in a more intuitive and visually pleasing way. At the time of this recording, we've only had 5 entries to the Not My Final Form contest. So if you're thinking of entering, you should. The competition is not that stiff. So if you want your chance at winning $474 worth of prizes, now's your chance, and I would go for it if I was you. Hey, check this out. The DIY film guy made a stop motion Lego version of the Star Wars The Last Jedi teaser trailer. I can only imagine how long this must have taken. If you've made anything yourself that you want featured on the show, then you should send it to me. I'll throw it up. You can email it to me if you want. I'm Adrian at productioncrate.com. Or you can post it in our Production Crate subreddit, like Darren did with his parody Spider-Man trailer, or JCam did with his headfilm color grading tutorial. Or you could post it in our community Facebook group and see it along things like What Chef's VFX Food Reviews, or HIS Films Road Trip Clip Series, or just so much Game of Thrones stuff. There's really a lot of that going on right now. Also, we're about to try opening up our Instagram to Production Crate users. So if you've made anything that you want featured on our Instagram, go ahead and email that to us at support@productioncrate.com. It just needs to be under a minute long and probably not a crazy high resolution. And that's all I have for you today. So thank you for having me. I've been Adrian Jensen, and I am not going to end this by dancing.